Hey everyone, welcome to an exciting journey through Africa's maritime history. We often think of Africa as a place with vast grasslands teeming with wildlife and the iconic pyramids of Giza standing tall against the desert backdrop. These images are indeed captivating and form a significant part of Africa's identity. But guess what? There's a lesser-known yet equally fascinating side to Africa's history. It has a secret history, a history of awesome sailors who navigated the vast waters, busy trade routes that connected distant lands, and cool cultures mixing all around the Mediterranean Sea and beyond. This maritime legacy is a testament to Africa's ingenuity and its pivotal role in ancient global trade. From the Egyptians sailing long ago on the mighty Nile to the bustling ports of the Swahili Coast, Africa's connection to the sea has been super important in shaping the ancient world. These waterways were the lifelines of commerce and cultural exchange, influencing the development of civilizations far and wide. In this video, we'll dive deep into Africa's seafaring adventures, checking out how it affected trade, who had power, and how different cultures like the Phoenicians, Greeks, and Romans mixed together. We'll explore the stories of brave sailors who ventured into the unknown, the bustling markets that thrived on maritime trade, and the powerful empires that rose and fell with the tides. It's a story about clever people and their amazing skills at sea, and it shows how important Africa was in the history of seafaring around the world. So let's set sail on this incredible voyage through time and discover the maritime marvels of Africa. Let's get started. The Nile River, like the heart of Egypt, was super important for trade and travel in ancient Africa. The Egyptians were great at building boats and sailing, and they used the Nile to become a strong seafaring force. Their cool wooden boats, powered by sails and oars, traveled up and down the Nile, carrying stuff and people all over. The Nile connected Egypt to other African civilizations further south, like the Kingdom of Kush, which had tons of gold and ivory. Egyptian ships even went into the Mediterranean Sea, trading with faraway lands. This helped different cultures learn from each other, bringing new ideas, tools, and goods to Egypt. The northern coast of Africa, right next to the Mediterranean Sea, became a place where different cultures and businesses met. Carthage, started by the Phoenicians, became a really powerful seafaring city, controlling a lot of the Mediterranean. Their fast and easy-to-steer ships sailed all over, carrying things like cloth, glass, and fancy metals. But wait, there's more. In the hot Sahara Desert, there was another kind of trade happening: the trans-Saharan trade routes. Camels carried salt, gold, and sadly sometimes even slaves across the desert, connecting the Mediterranean coast to sub-Saharan Africa. These routes helped everyone make money and let different cultures in North and sub-Saharan Africa learn from each other. Carthage started small, but it became a huge seafaring power, even challenging Rome. The Carthaginians, who were great sailors and traders, created a massive trade network across the Mediterranean Sea, and even further, their ships, full of goods from faraway places, sailed to ports all over, making Carthage rich and powerful. But their ships weren't just for trade. They were also super important for their military. Their warships, with strong rams and skilled sailors, ruled the seas, protecting their trade routes and keeping them safe. The Punic Wars, a series of fights between Rome and Carthage, showed just how powerful Carthage's navy really was. Section 5, Clash of Titans, Carthage versus Rome. The Punic Wars were huge fights between Rome and Carthage that changed everything around the Mediterranean. These wars were some of the most significant conflicts of the ancient world, lasting over a century and involving massive armies and fleets. These wars happened because they wanted the same business. They both wanted more power, and their cultures were different. Carthage was a powerful maritime empire with vast trade networks, while Rome was a burgeoning land power with ambitions of expansion. It was the land power of Rome against the sea power of Carthage. Rome's disciplined legions clashed with Carthage's formidable navy, leading to epic battles both on land and at sea. In the First Punic War, Rome, which was mostly a land power, challenged Carthage's control of the sea and ended up taking over Sicily. This was a major turning point, as it marked Rome's first significant territorial gain outside the Italian peninsula. The Second Punic War saw Hannibal, the awesome Carthaginian general, cross the Alps with elephants to fight Rome on its own land. This daring move is one of the most famous military maneuvers in history, showcasing Hannibal's strategic genius and determination. Even though Hannibal was a brilliant general, Rome won in the end, and Carthage started to lose power. The Roman Republic's resilience and strategic counterattacks eventually wore down Carthage's forces. The Third Punic War ended with Carthage being completely destroyed, its once mighty ships burned, and its land taken over by the growing Roman Republic. This final conflict ensured Rome's dominance in the Mediterranean and marked the end of Carthage as a major power. Section 6, East Africa, Trading Winds of Change. While Carthage was rising and falling in the Mediterranean, the eastern coast of Africa was building busy trade routes. The monsoon winds, blowing across the Indian Ocean at the same time every year, helped connect East Africa to faraway lands for trade and cultural exchange. The ancient kingdom of Aksum, in what is now Ethiopia and Eritrea, became a big player in the Red Sea trade. Aksum was in a perfect spot between Africa, Arabia, and the Indian Ocean, so it controlled important trade routes. Aksumite ships carrying ivory, gold, and incense sailed across the Red Sea to trade with Egypt, Arabia, and other places. Section 7, the Swahili Coast, a tapestry of cultures. The Swahili Coast, stretching along the southeastern coast of Africa, became a vibrant center for trade and cultural exchange. This region, with its strategic location, attracted merchants and traders from various parts of the world. The bustling markets were filled with goods from distant lands, and the culture of the Swahili people was profoundly shaped by these interactions. The constant flow of traders brought new ideas, customs, and traditions. The Swahili people, renowned for their seafaring skills and business acumen, established thriving port cities. These cities became essential hubs in the vast Indian Ocean trade network, connecting Africa to Asia and the Middle East. Cities like Kilwa, Mombasa, and Zanzibar emerged as melting pots of cultures. These urban centers were not just trading posts, but also places where diverse cultures met and mingled, creating a unique cultural tapestry. Merchants and traders from Arabia, Persia, India, and other distant regions brought with them their languages, religions, and customs. This influx of diverse influences enriched the local culture, making it a vibrant and dynamic society. The Swahili language itself is a testament to this cultural blend. It is primarily a Bantu language, but has incorporated numerous words from Arabic, Persian, and Indian languages, reflecting the diverse interactions over centuries. The Swahili Coast, with its rich mix of African, Arab, and Asian influences, stands as a remarkable example of how trade and cultural exchange can transform societies. The legacy of this vibrant region continues to be felt today, showcasing the enduring power of cultural diversity. Section 8. Legacy of exchange knowledge across the waves. Ancient Africa's seafaring wasn't just about trading stuff. It was also about sharing knowledge, ideas, and how different cultures did things. Egyptian ships sailing across the Mediterranean brought new technologies, like better ways to build ships and navigate by the stars to other places. The trans-Saharan trade routes, mostly used for business, also helped spread religious beliefs, art styles, and farming techniques between North and Sub-Saharan Africa. The Swahili Coast, with its mix of people from everywhere, became a place where smart ideas and art were shared, combining African traditions with ideas from Asia and the Middle East. Section 9. Conclusion: Africa's enduring maritime influence. Africa's history with the sea shows how important the continent has always been to seafaring, world trade, sharing different cultures, and spreading knowledge. From the Egyptians sailing on the Nile to the busy ports of the Swahili Coast, African civilizations have made a big impact on the history of the sea. It's important to remember Africa's role in shaping how we travel and trade across the oceans. By learning about what ancient African civilizations did at sea, we can better understand how human history is all connected and how sharing different cultures has shaped our world.